For many years, Camp Leakey gave orphaned and injured orangutans a home, caring for them until they were old enough to be reintroduced to the wild. Gary's plan was to foster one of these motherless youngsters and teach it to sign.
Their brains were still forming and learning about the real world, and this was a chance to do something that would be comparable to a young child or another young ape.
After 2 years with Gary, his student would be returned to the wild.
To teach them in their natural world where they're going to wind up anyway, for me was the only way to do this kind of work.
Soon it was time to choose the orangutan he'd be raising. But the decision wasn't to be his.
When I opened the enclosure door, she jumped out into my arms and essentially chose me as her adopted daddy.
She was almost 4 years old, and her name was Princess.
She was just so cute, and she was smaller than the other ones were.
Fostering Princess was daunting.
I wasn't sure what I was getting into, quite honestly. I mean, I was ready to take on this project. I wanted to see what it was like. I had never raised a child of my own. So for me, this was almost like the first time being a parent.
Princess had spent 2 years as a household pet after her mother was killed by poachers.
Just taking care of her was a big challenge.
To give her the best chance of learning sign language, they would be together 24 hours a day, even sleeping in the same hut.
She was very, very dependent on me, very insecure. So when we went from place to place, she was always clinging on to me. So I had to figure out what I was going to do when I went to the bathroom or take a shower.
In the wild, baby orangutans keep a tight hold on their mother's hair as she travels through the forest. Princess's iron grip was natural to her, but painful for Gary.
And that grip can really hurt the skin. So eventually I moved her onto my shoulders where she would kind of just stay on top. And that became the easy way of carrying her around camp.
Problem solved, until Gary went to the river to bathe. Orangutans do not swim.
I put her on the side of the dock while I went in, and of course she was carrying on a storm. There was quite a bit of insecurity on her part, and this was accompanied by her crying.
But then she did something extraordinary.
She just jumped on me, and she went onto my shoulder above my head. I would have to hold my breath. I was able to eventually learn how to keep my head above water.